Well, Mark, let's move on into our last discussion, and I'm going to set this one up for you before I ask the question and I just come out here. So we had the NFL Combine this past week, rounded out on Monday with the safeties and cornerbacks, all the defensive backs doing their drills. But earlier on, this was like maybe Friday or Saturday. I think it was Friday because the quarterbacks have not thrown yet. They were doing their interviews. And I'm sitting there watching, I want to say it was NFL Live. And they have the camera on Baker Mayfield, and he's doing his interview, and he's talking, and he's saying all the right things, checking all the right boxes. That's what you always hear with the draft. You got to check the right boxes, check this box, check that box. And I'm sitting there watching him talk. And he's talking about how he's a competitor, and he's talking about how he'll go and play for anyone. And I'm just hearing him talk, and I'm going, he needs to be a Cleveland Brown. He needs to. So here's what I'm going to propose.
All right.
Basically, should the Browns draft Baker Mayfield, and this is the scenario how I think they do it, you don't take him number one. Number one, you take Saquon Barkley. That's because the Giants, if they go quarterback, I don't think they're going to go Baker Mayfield. He's not high enough on their board. They'll go with a Darnold. They'll go with a Rosen. Then you got the Colts. Yeah, but Ricky, the Colts can trade that pick. A guy can snatch in a quarterback. I think Rosen or Allen would be the target if a team's trading up for that point. So basically what I'm saying is I think there's a perfect storm to get Saquon at 1, Baker Mayfield at 4. And now I'll ask you, should the Browns draft Baker Mayfield? Should he be the next quarterback for the Cleveland Browns?
I think that's kind of the ideal situation, honestly, for me, because of the fact that, and it's not Baker Mayfield. For me, it's Saquon Barkley. I think the Browns need Saquon Barkley.
But this way you get Baker Mayfield
then you get
and
the plus
Saquon.
of you address your quarterback.
Because you don't have to take Baker number 1.
No, not at all. And I think people would laugh at you if you did.
Yes.
But you can do that, and then you can let, if the Giants do it, or if a team trades up, you know, you can let a team trade up and take one of the Joshes, I should say, Josh Allen, if it's that.
Dude, did you see that 70-yard bomb from Josh? I know it's a combine, but did you see that thing? Oh, that thing was awesome.
You know who likes kids with arms? John Elway. Loves a kid with an arm. I mean, right now, you've been saying it for a while, but Josh Allen really just screams John Elway.
Yeah.
So many ways. But anyways, you know, whether it's him or Rosen or Darnold, who, I mean, obviously I said those kind of in reverse order of what you'd expect. But Baker Mayfield should probably be there. I think Baker Mayfield is at most the second quarterback off the board. He's not going to be the first. There's potential that he would be the third if the Browns weren't taking him at 4. But I definitely think somebody, if the Browns take Saquon, I feel like somebody will try and trade up to 2 or 3. It might be the Jets trying to trade up to skip the Broncos in that case. And Baker Mayfield will be there at 4.
Here's the thing, and here's a quote that he had. I don't know if I heard this one exactly, but he was asked, what if you're selected by the Browns, who were winless last season? And he said, that would be a chance to play football. I'd love that. First things first, they'd get a winner. If anybody's going to turn that franchise around, it's going to be me. They're close. They're very close. They've got the right pieces. They just need the one guy and quarterback to make the difference. And that's the thing with Baker Mayfield that, I mean, there's a part of it where, so first I'll get into the thing I like most about him, and the whole thing that everyone's talking about now is it cockiness or confidence? And Baker Mayfield even came out and said, I'm not cocky, I'm confident. And there's a thin line. In order to be confident, you have to be a little bit cocky. That's just how it is. Like, some people go out there and it's like, oh man, that guy's cocky, I don't like him. But most people who are really good at what they do are so confident to where they tread that line and can be a little cocky at times because you know I'm really good. Now, are there the flip side of guys that are really good and are not cocky at all? Yes, but most of the time you kind of ride that line a little bit between confidence with the cocky and you get both in a perfect situation.
Yeah.
If I'm the Browns, I heard that and go, he's my guy. I want a guy with Cleveland because you're winless, because 1 win in 2 years. I want a guy that's going to want to be here and is going to want to turn this franchise around.
And Josh Rosen essentially told you he doesn't want to be
there. Exactly. And that's a whole different situation because Peter King today on Dan Patrick said that the NFL, when he was talking about Josh Rosen, said the NFL has a problem with rich kid, like the rich kid quarterback. And basically Josh Rosen being like, I don't want to play for Cleveland, whereas Baker Mayfield walked on here, had to work here to get a scholarship here, won the Heisman here, work. Sure. Fuck it, I'll play wherever you want me to. You know what? You want me to clean the bathrooms? I'll do that too. Like that's the kind
he's not going to do that.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though. Like, but if it was a regular job, like, hey, I'll do whatever you need me to.
He's
I'm
the
just
guy
happy
who's
to be
not going to have an issue when the team hazes him. Where
he'll
Rosen, I think,
give
will
it
have
right.
an
He'll
issue
give it right back
when he gets hazed. Well, you can wait till you're a sophomore. I mean, you're
no,
you're
but
rookie
like
year,
you know
don't do
that like that fun give and take. He won't be afraid.
Do you remember
to...
Tim Tebow's fryer cut?
Yeah, the fryer cut.
Yeah,
it's
that
on
was
my
the best.
Facebook page.
But here's the thing when it comes to this though, and part of my fear for
Baker
Cleveland,
Mayfield?
no, for Cleveland
Okay.
necessarily because it's Cleveland, and then I'll switch over to why it could potentially be good for Baker Mayfield. Part of me is scared for Cleveland because they're Cleveland, and they draft a guy who he's a short quarterback. I mean, he's not like 5'8", but you know he's what 6 feet, 6'1" maybe. I think he's 6 feet even. He's also a spread quarterback, who those typically don't have the best transfer rate.
He did say he's the most accurate quarterback in the draft. He did go ahead and say that.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying they don't think it's true either.
I don't think that's true,
Like
but
Joel,
that's okay.
Joel Klatt said, yeah, he's the most accurate in this small range, but then when you go down the field, he's not the most accurate.
Yeah. So there are
He's 6'1" officially.
6'1", okay. So
6'1", 215.
So he could be taller. He could be a little bigger. And I think that I have that fear of those type of guys don't translate super well in the NFL. Now, the good thing for Baker Mayfield, if you go to Cleveland or if you go to the other place that I can see him going, the New York Jets, like I said, they might trade up to get somebody. They might surprise the world and trade up for Baker Mayfield. These are two teams.
You're talking about the Jets might do that.
Yeah. These are two teams that have a lot of money. They don't have a ton of pieces at the moment. They can build around a guy like Baker Mayfield.
Because he'd be cheap coming. Well, cheaper. Yeah, cheaper coming.
Well, he's
in.
a rookie. Yeah. He's a rookie.
Because you don't have the Sam Bradford days anymore.
Yeah, and you've got a lot of money already. You can build around whatever. And Baker Mayfield to me is a guy where he will not be successful if you are, let's say, the Denver Broncos who are going to come in and say, cool, this is the way you're going to play. You know, he is not going to work in that situation. Where if you're a team that says, all right, we have this quarterback, let's know what he's good at, let's know what he's not good at.
You just got to let
put
Baker
the pieces
be Baker.
around him. Yeah, you're going to have to build that system, that offense around him, I feel like. Very similar to, and I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield, I'm not calling him the mobile quarterback here, but very similar when you get a mobile quarterback, and you sometimes will have to adapt the system to fit them, where it might not have done so already. You know, when you start playing it that way, I mean, we just saw it for Chicago with Mitch Trubisky when John Fox didn't care about a bootleg. But when Trubisky was in there, all of a sudden they needed to do some bootlegs because that's what he was doing, being successful at. You know, you will adapt to your quarterback. Baker Mayfield is that guy where I think he needs to be in the exact right place. And I don't know if Cleveland or New York are the right place necessarily, but at least there's enough of an ability to build around them and give them what they need to kind of hide away those weaknesses and play to his strengths.
One of the main reason I'll say why I think Cleveland is the place for Baker Mayfield is because Baker Mayfield is the quarterback that Cleveland needs. Like, not to go Batman on it, but it's like, it's not the hero that you need. It's the hero you deserve. Like, Cleveland needs a guy that's going to come in.
I think you said that wrong.
Isn't that what? Or
it's not the hero you deserve. It's the hero that you need.
That's right, because he was talking about Harvey Dent. But basically, he's going to be the guy to come in, and every other quarterback before. It's
or
like,
we just fucked it up again. I don't know.
Why am I in Cleveland? Where Baker Mayfield, another thing he said, and a lot of this is what he said at the Combine. Like I said, check the right boxes. That's what Baker Mayfield did for me. He checked every single box and then some. When he said the words, and this really got me going in a good way, they asked him, like, oh, what quarterbacks do you want to emulate? I'll say the second one first. He said Drew Brees. Mainly because, Drew Brees was a shorter guy. I'm a shorter guy. If he made it work, I can make it work.
Yep.
The first guy he said, which was like, I'm sold. If you're going to emulate him, even with just the way he played, sign me up for that one, Brett Favre. I could totally see it. Not like because Brett Favre was competitive, but Brett Favre was like that kid on the field, joking around with the refs, joking around with other players on different teams. I think the thing that scares
me about that is the Baker Mayfield likes to throw off his back foot quite a bit.
And so did
Brett Favre. And Brett Favre made it work, but lightning doesn't always strike twice.
Man, who thought Brett Favre was going to be Brett Favre when he completed that pass to himself way many moons ago? I think that was when he was with Atlanta that happened. I don't think that was with Green Bay. It might have been with Green Bay, but I heard that, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm really starting to like this kid. Well, the thing that I hate is, so early on, there was the comparison, and I've even said that if I'm Baker Mayfield, I want nothing to do with this comparison. Early on, people were going, oh, he's Johnny Manziel. Comes from Texas, kind of that same bravado to the position, mobile guy, spread guy. But then when you look at it, like, and a lot of people, I'm glad on like ESPN, on NFL Network, are saying what I'm thinking, to where it's like, Johnny Manziel's a different case. Where Johnny Manziel was like, I have a problem. I don't know if I want to play football anymore. Like, or not just play football, but I don't want to do the work. Yeah. I don't want to come in here and do the work, where Baker Mayfield's completely the opposite. He's going to come in, do the work, and then some, and he's going to be a guy that, and this is the most important thing, like, just think of workplace worker. Do you want a guy, and maybe I'm describing Josh Rosen to Baker Mayfield or comparing the two, but do you want a guy that's been handed everything his entire life? Or do you want that worker that has had to work for everything and has that chip on his shoulder each and every day? I'll take the kid with the chip on his shoulder.
I'll take whichever one wins.
That's going to grind and going to fight and not going to take anything for granted.
Now, the flip side of it, I do want to put a little bit of the brakes on the hype, just because of
I'm hyping him up
because he's saying the right things, but
checking the right boxes.
It's easy to say I'll play anywhere when you're not the top quarterback off the board. Where Rosen for a while was being talked about as quarterback number one.
True.
So that's a different substance. When Baker Mayfield, there are some people who believe he's going to be lucky to go in the first round. I don't buy that, but
what? Like, you think that he's going to get drafted higher?
No, some people. Well, you can't go higher than the first round. No, some people think he's going to be lucky to be in the first round.
I think he is in the first round for sure. Yeah.
So do I. I think that if anyone's falling out, it's Josh Allen.
Well, here's the thing I want to ask you. This will kind of compare it to it. Like we've said, you said to pump the brakes on the hype. Let's look at two guys that people are now questioning. I'll ask you, Sam Darnold doesn't throw at the combine. What did you think about that?
I would like to see him throw, but honestly, things like the combine is great for the guy I don't know something about. I have a lot of tape on Darnold. I've seen what he can do. I know what his strengths are. I know what needs to be fixed and what needs to be worked on.
So like a guy like Shaquem Griffin, where it's like, I didn't watch too many Central Florida games this year. Maybe I got to check that out.
That's what you like to see. Where someone like him, it's like, I don't really care if you throw or not, because I've seen you do a lot of it. I've seen the tape, and I've seen it in games when it really matters.
My only thing, and this compares to Baker Mayfield with the Darnold not throwing, is I want to see that competitiveness. Like you said, I've seen enough film on you, Rosen, Allen, Mayfield, and Darnold, to where you have a shitty day throwing, it's not going to say, well, you're no longer in the first round. I want to see you go out and compete with the other guys, though, with the other guys in that group. Yeah. The other thing that now people are criticizing is another quarterback, and I'll ask you this. Lamar Jackson didn't run the 40 at the combine, because he said in an interview on NFL Network, he said, I was going to run the 40, but then everyone started talking about me being a wide receiver, So he said, I decided not to run the combine because I'm a quarterback. I will run the 40 at my pro day.
Yeah.
What do you think about him? Did you not like that he didn't run the 40? Do you care that he didn't run the 40?
No, I like that he didn't do it because I like that he's being stubborn and saying, I'm not a wide receiver. I'm a quarterback.
I'm the same way.
Because
he's not.
Honestly, what's the worst thing that happens? He does get drafted at some point and eventually switches to a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know, that's the worst thing that happens. He's not going to be able to go in the first round as a wide receiver. He's probably not going to go in the second round as a wide receiver. You know, so go in one of those 2 rounds, maybe the third round, towards the bottom end of it as a quarterback. Give that a shot because he'll probably get a chance.
I'm the same way. Love that he didn't run it because it's basically, I'm a quarterback. You don't need to know my speed. You don't need to know how fast I am. But the thing I love even more, they asked him like, well, you know, Lamar, if you did run it, how fast do you think you'd be? And he's like, yeah, I'd hit 4.3. He's like, I'd be faster than Shaquem Griffin. And that just made me go, when's Louisville's pro day? Because I want to watch him run the 40. I want to see him hit 4.3 and everyone go nuts. But then you get the whole thing like, and I'll bring Darnold into it, of like, yeah, throwing at your pro day. I mean, you look at Baker Mayfield, and I love that Baker Mayfield, the Johnny Manziel pro day, where it's like the music's blasting, he's jamming, and he's just bullet, complete.
I mean, it's such a scripted event. They spent so much time practicing for that pro day. It's hard to mess it up. And I think Johnny Manziel, if I remember right, he only missed 1 throw.
Yeah,
is what the big deal was.
It was Garrett Gilbert, the guy from SMU, that didn't miss a single throw at his pro day.
Yeah, and you know, I don't think anybody's jumping for joy about Gilbert.
No, he didn't. I think he was with the Rams. Or no, that was Manning that was with the Rams. I don't remember where Garrett Gilbert went.
I don't know.
Guy from SMU. But any final thoughts on Baker Mayfield or the quarterbacks or the combine in general? Because we didn't touch the combine at all.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the combine too much. Like I said, combine is a big deal for those guys you don't know much about.
Shaquem Griffin, what do you think? Too much hype?
Like him.
Too much hype after the 40?
I mean, probably, but that's exciting. You see a guy like that, you see a big guy like that that can run like that, that's exciting.
Well, did you hear what Von Miller said today on First Take?
No, I didn't.
He was not only talking about Kirk Cousins, how like he wants Kirk Cousins on the Broncos, but he's like, yeah, give me Shaquem Griffin. Basically, he said, he's like, good thing I'm not in the front office. Because they asked him how high you would take Shaquem Griffin. And he goes, good thing I'm not in the front office, because he's like, I'd probably take him as high as I could just to get a guy like that on my team.
Now, of course, the flip side of that is, you know, there's more than the 40, so we can't get too excited.
I mean, still, though, with the prosthetic arm doing the 20 bench presses at 225, that's more than I could do, and I've got 2 hands. That's way more than I could do at 125, and I've got 2 working hands.
Yeah.
Like, he did more than I could do, and I've got, like I said, 2 hands. Any other guys at the combine, like I said, Alan Lazard, I mentioned him earlier. I loved what he put on at the combine. Any other guys that you were like, I'm going to start watching this guy a little bit closely?
No.
Davenport helped himself.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest when it comes to the combine. I don't put a ton of stock into it.
I'm a hype machine.
That's the problem. Is I don't put a ton of, because I've been burned in the past. If you see a guy who's great and you're like, oh, you better draft him right away, and then he doesn't pan out. You know, because just because someone can run fast, just because they can bench a lot, just because they can make the right throws when nothing is going on around them doesn't tell me anything. One thing I actually do like to see, though, is I like to see the defensive backs. When they get thrown the ball, are they going to catch it?
Yes.
That's one of the few things where I see that and I'm like, yes, that is an important one. I want to see if you can catch the ball because there's nothing around you. It will never get easier than right now for you to catch that football.
Are you going to be Devin Hester and not be able to catch it?
Right? Yeah, be a wide receiver anyways.
There's a reason why you were switched to quarterback.
The other thing I'll say about the combine, the most important stat of the day, hand size. Hand size really important.
Here's the last question I want to ask you. If we went out to the track right now and ran the 40, how fast do you think you'd be? How fast could you run the 40-yard
There was,
dash?
I think I saw a Reddit post, by the way, and then I'll actually answer your question, where it was like an average guy, and it might have been a YouTube video, I don't remember, but it was an average guy does the combine, and he actually did a really good job.
I want to do the combine like next year.
Yeah.
I want to train for it, let's be honest. Like if we're going to do it, I want to actually train for it.
I
don't
want to do it
right
without
now.
training first and then do it with training. And maybe not post the without training, but just so I know how much better I did. But the cool thing about the guy who did the average stuff, it was funny. He was like, I'm an average guy, let me do it. And he actually did a good job. But then there's a lot of people that are like, I'm not buying that he's average. I'm an average guy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do that. But no, I actually think, I think the 40 would be my good one. I mean, I don't think anyone's that surprised that I'm not going to bench a ton. I think I could do the 40 pretty well. I used to be able to sprint. The problem is, though, I do have asthma, and I haven't ran more than 5 seconds in like years, like since I was in high school. Well, so I don't think I could run very fast. Well,
because if we did the combine, we would go ahead and do, so you got the 40 that we would do. You've got the bench press that we would do, vertical jump, broad jump.
Yeah, I don't think I have any jumps.
And then we would do the 20-yard shuttle and then the 3-cone drill. That's what we would do.
We would basically just learn that the guys at MVP are pretty athletic. I mean, unathletic. Even those of us who did. I mean, pretty much everybody in MVP.
I brought it up to Brandon tonight. He wanted to run it tomorrow, and I'm like, we're not running the combine. We're not doing the combine tomorrow.
Well, pretty much everybody in MVP did sports at some point in time, but all of us are also like, we are well past the prime in that. I mean, hey, I'll put it out there. You know,
what sport did you play?
Well, I played baseball for a while, and then stopped.
If you had to pick one sport to be like your go-to?
Well, I was in martial arts. I was in Taekwondo.
Okay,
I had I won second place at nationals. So I did pretty well. I was trained by Steven Lopez, gold medalist Olympian athlete. That's my guy. That's the only Olympic sport I give a shit about. Now, I'm tooting my horn here only to say that I know for a fact I am super unathletic now. I am well past my prime of being athletic. And I think that is what everybody would learn, is that the guys at MVP are well past their prime.
So what we would do is the 40-yard dash.
But I think I can get you guys on the 40.
So we got the 40-yard dash, the bench press. We would do the vertical jump, the broad jump, the 3-cone drill, the 20-yard shuttle, and then the 60-yard shuttle. Yeah, is all the events that we would do. I would like to do it like one day.
Yeah, maybe, I think it would be fun.
Maybe if we get enough support from you guys, we'll go ahead and do it.
I think we're all going to be ashamed of ourselves afterwards.
I don't care. I don't care. Because you know what's another thing that I found interesting? Is not for every position, but like for the positions that they really use the drill for. Yeah. Todd McShay came out with a like guide to the combine where you can look at, all right, this benchmark is outstanding. Here's the 5-year average. Here's where a red flag is. Yep. And like we could measure ourselves per position.
That'd be fun.
Like I said, I looked at it today. The position that I would play isn't even on there. Quarterback, they're like, nope, we don't care about any of it. Just how you throw.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be fun in the comment section for Ricky's talking about being a quarterback.
That's what I did when we played football. I was always the quarterback.
Everybody wanted to be the quarterback.
I couldn't do anything else except for I really took pride in being cornerback.
I just liked to be Michael Vick. You know, when we used to play and it would be like 2-on-2, and essentially I would be the quarterback usually, and it would be the, you know, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi before you could blitz.
And then you would run.
And I would just be like, come and get me because I'm going to go. I know I'm faster than you. But anyways, I will say probably my proudest athletic moment. If anybody remembers the pacer, do you remember the pacer?
The pacer?
In gym class?
Is that the little thing like you said on? It's like the little scooter you had to kick with your feet?
It was when you would run from one side of the gym to the other side. Okay. And you had, this is not how it works, but let's just say you had 30 seconds in round 1. Round 2, you had 29 seconds, then 28, 27.
To get there and back?
Yeah, and it just kept getting shorter, and it would be a pace. Can you pace yourself to keep going?
We never did that.
That was like a state standard thing, I guess. I don't know.
I don't remember doing that.
Some people in the comment section I'm sure did, but I got to 100 pace. And that was like, I'm not, like in high school, I was not athletic. I was already past my days. I was a musician at this point. Yeah. I have fully committed. And I ran 100, and my gym teacher was like, I thought you were like some stoner kid or something like that. And I'm like, I'm not going to do anything else from this point forward, but I just did 100 pacers.
You know what I hate? This will be the last thing I say. You know what I hated in gym class as a kid?
Everything?
Rope day.
Oh, we
Did
never
you guys
did that.
do rope day?
No.
We had a huge rope that would hang from the ceiling and basically climb it, see how high you can get. I wouldn't get that high and then slide down.
I honestly don't think I would even know how to climb a rope.
And then, like, I think Dave did it in elementary school. This is like fifth, sixth grade. Well, yeah, fifth, sixth grade. If you climbed all the way to the top and touched the top, you got put in the monkey club. And you got your name on the wall in the monkey club.
Very cool.
That's what it was. But this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think down below about our 40-yard dashes, about
That's
anything
really
we talked about at
important
the
here.
end, and mostly about
And
Baker
how many
Mayfield.
Pacers did you run in high
Yeah,
school?
how many Pacers you ran in high school. Also, let us know about Baker Mayfield should the Cleveland Browns draft him in the NFL draft. But that's going to do it for the podcast this week. Housekeeping here at the end. Check out patreon.com/Most Valuable Podcast. That's how you support us. Help us keep the lights on and the heat on. It's been cold in this room as of late. We got to turn the heat on, but we need your help to do that. Also, go ahead, mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where we keep everything for MVP. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. And Mark, show them the goods. You
Go
can
and
get
get
that
it
in the store down below. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.